Hello, everyone, and welcome to this fine new episode of the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, episode 137. It's the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and everything that the community has come up with. So I just made that up, and but it's true. So welcome everyone to this new episode streamed live on the 30th of March, 2024. Starting out with this episode, we want to quickly mention that we includes Apple
Hello.
and also Marius.
Hello.
Okay, so we would like to start out with this little hint that we have given over the last few episodes already. In May, there are upcoming elections within the UBports Foundation, and we really need more people to become trustees and join the foundation as trustee members to keep this boat afloat and to keep everything in check with what is expected from a foundation. And just to make it quick, it's very easy to join. You have to send your application to membership@ubports.com. And for that, we also have a little information and a link as posted in the YouTube live chat. So feel free to join us and make stuff happen. In other news, wow, that was quick, huh? Last times we have talked about it so much that I would have liked to talk even more about it, but it seems like we've lost the notes. Good evening, Steve, and the Fingerman 37. In other news, I would like to mention that there is going to be a blog post by me posted very soon on a I don't know, should we keep it a secret until it's dropped, or should I just spoil the beans now? Oh, I think Apple is muted right now.
Keep it a secret, I say.
Yeah, let's keep it a secret. Let's keep it a secret. It will involve snaps and it will involve Ubuntu Touch. So something to be looking forward to. Yeah, I think we are ready for some news, which is comprised of a few things over the last 2 weeks that have happened in the repositories and in Git. And most of the things that we have been like, oh, behave, spoilers, please. No, not like that. What I can say is it starts with a snap and it ends with a .io. The rest is for you to figure out. So, yeah, regarding news, we do have a few changes upcoming in enablement for Noble, so or 2404 based Ubuntu Touch, which is mostly happening with regards to bringing up the repositories to build against Noble. Ubuntu Noble, meaning Ubuntu 2404 LTS, which we target as the next release. And most of the things are really just making sure that things are enabled to build against the upcoming release, and also a few changes with regards to snap enablement. And also, what else do we have here? Little updates to libhybris for Focal, for example. And what do we have here? Also, a few changes to click and mock usage. So it's more of ensuring that the software that we build is tested on CI properly, and so that it works properly with, for example, click here. So the click package that we ship as part of one thing that comprises the Ubuntu Touch environment, where click is our package format that we usually install our applications with. And there are also some port updates happening at the moment, so it seems. So over the last 2 weeks, a few things have happened with like all over the place. It's not 100% error free though. So for example, the changes that have happened to Ubuntu 2404 and the Ubuntu repositories, there is an ongoing transition for the year 2038 problem, which means applications or software that runs and is not let's say optimized to run with regards to the memory having proper information about date time, where at the year 2038 it would basically loop back and start from the Unix epoch again. So it would result in wrong dates showing up, and that nobody wants to have that problem. I'm pretty sure. I've not heard of anyone wanting the year 2000 problem, and I'm pretty sure that's the same thing here. But
We
this,
still have some time to get there. So
yeah, but assuming that Ubuntu 24.04 is going to be a pretty long support release, it's probably gonna be a good idea to wait until those transitions are over. But those transitions currently break our ability to have CI build packages against Ubuntu libraries and other packages.
I also want to add to that, this is only, also all packages will be rebuilt, but the time problem is only for 32-bit systems.
Exactly. Yes. So those are probably, I don't even think we have many 32 ARM HF or whatever devices out there supported right now. I'm pretty sure we don't.
Probably not anymore. Since the move to focal, I guess most of the 32-bit are just not here anymore.
Yeah. But the problem is not the date time itself, but the transition happening at the moment, blocking us from having CI build packages against the upcoming version. And I see a question here, Nexus 5 question mark, if that means like having actual running Ubuntu Touch. Well, it's probably not on focal anyway, so Nexus 5 is, or maybe maybe there's a Halium port. I'm not sure about this.
It's not in the system image. I checked. The only thing in the system image for ARM HF is Bacon or 1+1.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. Also, the next topic that I want to mention is the XZ vulnerability, or as many people around the globe also mistakenly say, XZ. No, just jokes aside, there have been reports about an XZ vulnerability happening, and just rest assured, even though we are using it for a lot of things, especially our update mechanism, we are not vulnerable to this, because the vulnerable version of XZ has released was like 5.6 and 5.6.1, and we're not using those. And also not the recovery one. That's a different implementation overall. So we are safe on that front. So don't worry about the software being vulnerable about that at that level or anyhow. So, and also don't worry about Marius having a cat tail in his face every now and then.
That's what cats do.
Yeah, that's a sweet cat. Look at that.
Yeah, it's so cute.
So, also what? Yeah,
He's a kitten.
a kitten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to pet a kitten. You're making me jealous, Marius.
Yeah.
All right. So, also worth mentioning is we would like to issue a call for maintainers, and that is for the core applications that comprise the whole Ubuntu Touch experience, that are also part of the package, of the whole deal. And the Ubuntu Touch applications that are out there, that are core applications, they're detached from the operating system, so that they can be released independently. And thanks to Lionel for mentioning this, because there have been a few merge requests issued already that are waiting to be approved, and we have too small of a team to take a look at those too. And yeah, in the end, it would be very helpful for anybody interested to get in touch with us and just join the team and make sure that the core applications also can have changes reviewed and merged really soonish, as soon as possible, so that we can get new, nice, shiny things on our phones. Speaking about core applications, I'm not making it easier for anybody because, or Maciek and I actually, I'm not alone in this, because we have over the last few months been occasionally working on a screen recorder app for Ubuntu Touch, so that you can actually record the screen. And for that, I would like to put a video onto the stage real quick. Let's see if this works.
Oh, damn.
There we go. This is a screen recorder recording Quake 2 fluently, smoothly, running at 30 frames per second in the video. But as you can tell, it looks pretty smooth already. And from that version, it's not complete yet. And it's also completely wrong in orientation. So I'm sorry for that. But it, on the Pixel 3a at least, it runs with 30% on one CPU core, which is phenomenal. It's more than it's way better than I have expected. So yeah, what do you think about this? Anybody got an opinion on this?
Looks real nice. I love it.
Yeah.
But I will ask a hard question for you. How about privacy issues with, for example, recording the screen of an app like Signal or Teleport?
Well,
because that's something that is often blocked on Android or iOS.
That is a good question. We actually, at the moment, don't have anything in place to have, and we have had talks about similar things for screenshots, for example. But right now, for example, you take a screenshot and the application can tell where to put the black bar or similar. The problem is we don't have anything like this right now. So there is certainly, that's a valid question and a valid concern here. But I think for the most part, this is a very helpful thing, especially with bug reporting. So when people come up with issues and they want to show us how to reproduce those problems, a screen recording can speak volumes there and help us to figure out what's really wrong at the specific place.
Yeah, and I was more teasing than serious on this topic because we all know that you can take another phone or any other camera and film your screen. So that's not really a real problem. It's just a convenience.
The enemy of the privacy concerned folks, 2 phones. Yeah, but this is something that we have been whipping up over the last few months. Occasionally, I just picked it back up and I'm just adding some finishing touches to this. But with, fingers crossed, maybe it will also land in the next OTA on Focal already. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be great. Because, that's something that can be really useful for a project I've been talked about. So, yeah, I'm just eager to see how it works for me in real time.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost.
Marius. There is Marius.
So I'm eager to try it.
Excuse me.
I'm eager to try it.
Yeah. I was just wanted to say that Marius dropping out is more like I wanted to put a placeholder with a cat there, but it's Marius's cat hosting the show next.
In 2 weeks it will be.
We just have to give the kitten a beard like Marius has now.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you're a little quiet right now.
Oh, I need to turn that up.
Yeah.
So, with those topics out of the way, shall we go over to the sponsors?
Yeah. Well, is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay, so we would like to thank our sponsors. Mainly Smooth, Voila, Pine64, Private Internet Access, DigitalOcean, GitLab, Weinstein, OCA, Gartner and Associates Consulting Incorporated, Netlify, I never real Netlify, Cloudrun, CodeLutin, Tixia, and Gandhi.net. And we also want to thank our sponsors, our patrons, individual patrons. Thank you for everyone. We have Athil, Asmund Kopang, Boris Flohaus, Daniel Franchak, David Seal, JT Brooks, Jose Angel Escura, Keyboards Holding, Kenneth Drew, Linus Rune, Lothar Ketterer, Mike or Malk Adamietz, Marco A, Michael Kenner, Peter Mack, Philip Speicher, Rakesh PK, Robert Halley, Robin Hood, Rudy Arudi, Spindia House, Stefan Kolb, Stephen Granger, Sorolf Sun, and Sabine Schwarzer, and Will Atwood. Thank you all for donating to UBports. It means the world to us. And and also thanks to all the members because they are contributors to the UBports. Contribution is money and time. And time is really important.
Yeah. I agree.
So if you want to help us continue what we do, not just on the show, but also with the operating system Ubuntu Touch that we all love, go to ubports.com/donate. And you can donate with pretty much a lot of means. The main majors, at least.
I'm also happy that Apley was able to go through it, even though he's got a cold. So everybody praise Apley.
Thank you. I didn't die, so it's good. Yeah.
That's a very bad moment to die in front of, Anyway.
Yeah, but it will be a buzz on internet, so a lot of attention to UBports then.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's stop this train wreck.
Oh God.
Okay. So next up, we have some application updates from the Open Store. Not a lot of them, but there are two of them. The first one is Wegwise, I'm Austrian, so I'm just saying Wegwise. Not sure if that's the right way to pronounce it, but it seems to be a traffic information app for Dutch users. So Netherlands can have Ubuntu Touch users go through. Wait a second. Where is the Open Store post? I really should have opened the Open Store. Where is it? There it is. Traffic conditions and fuel prices. That is what the actual description of it. So you can actually find very nice information, and it actually looks. I will try to. I will probably not share my screen right now, but rest assured, it looks good. It looks very good. Bad Wi-Fi is to blame on this one.
I can try to share my screen.
Yes, please do that.
Share.
So it currently only supports Netherlands, as is noted in the description.
Yeah.
So
was it. So yeah, and here are some snapshots from it.
I added it to the stage. There we go. This looks good. This looks very good.
Yeah.
Also, the map view. Show the map view at the end.
Yeah. Damn.
That one is missing. Yeah, that looks very nice. And it's also new GPL v3 license. So what's not to like about this?
Yeah. Useful app.
Oh yeah.
And for the most recent, it's Snapzor.
Oh yeah, there is also Snapzor. Yeah, I have also updated Snapzor in the meantime. And that includes two very important changes, or one very particular important one. And that is Snapzor now by itself ships snapd patched to run libhybris-based drivers inside of confined snaps, which means that when you download an application from the Snap Store and it's strictly confined, as most of them are supposed to be, you actually get the ability to run OpenGL ES drivers from the device with the snap, so that everything is hardware accelerated already. And with that, we have the ability, and I would like to show something here, because I have also put another video in this queue here. This is Tide running on the Pixel 3a right now, using the snap version, and you see it's pretty fluid. It's pretty smoothly running, and the animations are looking good. That's all due to the fact that the OpenGL drivers from the host are being used. This is not a strictly confined snap. It's a classic one, but still, same rules apply. And as you can see, it just does its thing, and it doesn't look too stuttery, or doesn't stutter in the meantime while using it. So that's a pretty big deal to me, and I'm happy to report that it works pretty well.
That's really cool.
You're still very quiet, Marius.
Oh.
Do you have a cat on your microphone like the last time?
Not currently, no.
Weird. Anyhow, those are the two big updates that have been placed in the Open Store. And maybe I should mind if I add a question from live chat?
No, we don't have so many questions from the forum, so let's go. I suppose this is from SXJ.
SXG, there we go. So why not more phones? And with Android 13 and 14, remember that porting over a Ubuntu Touch to a device is sometimes way more time-consuming than you would actually expect. This is not an Android ROM. We are not playing with Android ROMs. We might be reusing the Android drivers, but porting over a device to run with Ubuntu Touch is involving time. And also with Android 13 and 14 being so recent, it takes some time to adapt to that too. And for that, we have two little hands helping us. And that means that it's of no surprise that Android 13 and 14 are taking longer. There is some movement with Android 13, if I'm not mistaken, but Android 14, not so much. So it takes time to port over Ubuntu Touch, and Halium is specifically that we are using to make a GNU/Linux environment run on Android kernels and drivers. Those take a little bit more time than you would hope. So we can't just jump on the newest, hottest phone out there just because it's been released. It's not working like that, which is the reason why I still I personally maintain the 2019 released Pixel 3a at the moment. So it's an Android 9 device, and it works better than the 13 devices right now do, because the 13 devices don't have the changes to be 100% feature complete yet.
Yeah. Basically, more phones means more porters, and so we don't have an unlimited amount of them. And hopefully, if someone wants to jump in, then it will be always welcome.
All right. So with that, we should probably head over to the questions from the forum.
Yeah.
Anybody want to take the first question?
I will ask the question, but I know who can answer them better. The question is from Stanwood. He says, we've often talked about the development of IMS services here, like Vault via Wi-Fi, etc., and the difficulty of implementing them because of vendor blobs. But it's been a while since we've talked about the project to activate voice video calls in the Teleports app. Will this possibility be easier and quicker to implement until VLT arrives? This will make it easier for users to make voice calls in North America, e.g. Teleports for Telegram contacts, possibility WhatsApp via Waydroid for other people. Thank you.
Well, that's a good question. We have talked about a few background service initiatives in the past where background services can like really enrich the feature completeness of teleports, for example, with video calls and phone calls. But they're not here. But with the changes that are supposed to come with the SIP experiment, and also with voice over LTE experiments, so to say, we kind of get a good feel about what is necessary to put everything where it needs to be so that these features can be implemented. They won't get there out of the box, but it means that certain things need to be adapted in the teleports app for sure. But it is a first nice step in the right direction to just play with the SIP and voice over LTE things at first, and then make the teleports experience match that and integrate itself in that. So yeah. I don't know. Does Marius have anything to add to this?
Is my sound better?
Your
A
sound
bit, yeah.
is okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So to add it to teleport, it's gonna be a magnitude of order simpler than VoLTE, because VoLTE is super complex. While with teleports, we technically have that support with the library tdlib already, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that, in my opinion, I think that will be a lot easier, because VoLTE is just such a complex, huge task.
Yeah, that's true. That is true indeed. I also see a question here with regards to porting over, like this one. I quote unquote like this question. Why not collaborate over the boundaries to create a universal solution that is in response to, excuse me, this one? Why not collaborate about the boundaries to create? Oh my god. Selfish uses HAL as well, and they most use more recent Android versions as a base. Yeah, but they're not using Halium. There is a possibility to use Sailfish OS with Halium, but they're not using it, and it would basically mean either us having to wait for them, or specifically intentionally collaborate, which has not happened yet. And I mean, we do collaborate on a few things, of course, but we're not like forcing each other to be together, so to say. We don't force ourselves onto the Sailfish folks, and the Sailfish folks don't force themselves onto us, so that we can still have what each of us wants to provide with this. But there is something to be said about Sailfish being at the forefront of porting at the moment. That's for sure. But that's also because they're a company that invests money into the porting. So that's something that's something to keep in mind. All right. Oh, I see a question for Marius here. I'm gonna read this one out. In trying to use things like Netflix and Spotify in the Morph browser, I recently learned about Widewine and issues playing DRM content. That is by Matt P. The question is by Matt P, by the way. Issues playing DRM content in web browsers. Is the Wide Enable app in the Open Store, which provides an experimental Widewine support, still a recommended method to try?
Recommended depends on your level of expertise, or I mean, the thing with the Widevine enabler is that it modifies glib, which is kind of really a no. It modified not glib, but
glibc.
glibc. Yeah, there we go. glibc. It modifies that in a way that's kind of not supported. It's only really a patch that was added to Chromium, and we had to port it, forward port it to Ubuntu Touch at the same time, because the widevine binaries that are built for ARM64 are built for Chrome OS specifically. So that's why we need that. So it is safe to use in the terms of like there's no like real danger in it. The only like danger is that it can make your device a little bit unstable and break on updates and whatnot. So it's not really a huge risk, but I wouldn't do it on a device that you have a lot of data on that you really care about or something like that. It's more experimental because of the glib. But once we get the glibc patch in upstream or in our upstream,
which is Ubuntu.
Yeah, which is Ubuntu, or we port it on specifically our device, the devices, then it will be safe.
Yeah, it's a little bummer that the glibc stuff needs to be there and changed in a way that is not 100% compatible with how we ship our operating system, but the same is true for Snapstore. So in that sense, those things are there to allow people to do what they want, but on the other hand, you're still free to shoot yourself in the foot should you really want to try this, right? So I mean, it's a nice stopgap solution to try it out and figure out whether this 100% solves what you want to solve. But don't expect us to risk the stability of the operating system for the sake of enabling widevine support just yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Could we have? I have a question, and that's to the audience. Can we have more questions, please?
Yeah, there are some.
Oh yeah, I see one in live chat here.
Yeah.
How does one check for memory leaks in Ubuntu Touch using Melgrind as usual? Oh, I see a new question here popping up. Hi, love, what you guys are doing. I have a question. Will Ubuntu Touch be on par with Ubuntu 24.04 Lumiri? So if improvements are made on Ubuntu 24.04 Lumiri, those will see the light on Ubuntu Touch ? So we are probably going to be at the forefront with Ubuntu Touch anyhow. And Ubuntu 24.04 with Lumiri in the repositories. You have to remember that those are probably more like stuck and set in stone, released as is. It won't release and won't receive much of an update during the existence of 24.04. We might have to patch a few things, or we might get the chance to release a few updates here and there, but Ubuntu Touch is more like the horse that pulls the Lumiri wagon on and stuff like that. I don't know if that's a valid metaphor. I tried.
Yeah. It sure is a horse because we don't have the power of a steam engine or right now more fuel engine or electric engine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go slow.
Yeah.
But we push hard.
But then again, I have been, on the other hand, I have been able to finish a few Lumiri changes. For example, the light theme, the light mode compared to the dark mode on Lumiri in the shell itself. Those things have they have been implemented and tested with the desktop version of the last time, and they have been proposed to be shipped in the main branch, which means that right now it seems like some development efforts are probably also going to work out just fine with the desktop version of Lumiri on Ubuntu 24.04, but that will probably change as soon as there is a divergence, so to say, between what Ubuntu Touch can ship because we release it on our own versus what is in Ubuntu desktop in the Ubuntu archives on 24.04. And yeah, I mean, that's something to keep in mind here.
I see this question that I want to answer. Is there any possibility of password saving in browser for Ubuntu Touch? For example, currently only Google saves sign-in on both, but not say my WordPress site or the website signing. I have seen WebAppsable. And I would say, do we want that really?
I mean, the password manager of some sorts would probably be not a bad idea. I mean, I don't know
I
about
agree.
how about you, but I personally like the password manager that I am occasionally using on one of my, shame on me, Apple devices. And yeah, I mean, having those password saving mechanisms right at your fingertips, literally, because you can lock them with your fingerprint or with Face ID or something. Having something similar on Ubuntu Touch would be a very good idea anyway. But getting that right and having that implemented in a way that that really works and is secure, stays secure, so that it can't be easily, stolen, for example. That's
Yeah.
hard. That's a little tougher.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Is I will not advise you to use your browser, either Firefox or Chrome or any other browser, to save your password. I will rely on a real password manager that has been a paying one most of the time, because they are better checked and they invest in security. And with one with a good reputation, without any leakage in the past, because that's really important to have some trust with your provider. And yeah, I totally agree with Alfred on the fact that a password manager would be a great improvement to Ubuntu Touch. I think there's one that I found in the Open Store for Bitwarden, if I'm not mistaken.
Also remember a KeyPass one.
Yeah.
There was a
probably.
small little tiny KeyPass application that I do think I still have it on my phone. I still need to look. I need to look at this.
There's also a native.
Yeah, KeyPass. There is something.
There's also a native Bitwarden app.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, this and maybe we can try to implement them a bit better to avoid the copy and paste thing. But implementing it directly into the browser, I don't think it's a good idea. But having a good way to do it will be great. Yeah, for sure.
What I could see though is implementing something along the lines of the GNOME and other desktop environments, like secret stores that are out there that unlock with your PIN or with your password on the desktop, so that those can be used to store the passwords through a common dbus interface that is well known, that is respected by the browsers out there, so that the browsers just automatically know what to do and magically work out of the box without us having to modify anything on the browser side. Because for the browser to support something like this, there could be either that way, or we could go a different route and just implement everything ourselves and patching Chromium to hell, which is a little bit time consuming and a waste of maintenance effort, so to say. Harder to maintain and would require us to patch yet another piece of Chromium again, and that's a little tougher to go through. And keep in mind, we also patch Chromium already, or the Qt web engine. We already patched that for camera and hardware accelerated video support. So we don't want to put more burden on ourselves to get the feature completeness. Ideally, we just have one way that works across a multitude of browsers already. So for that, maybe a similar route to this can go through this. Yeah. Okay. So I think this looks like we have depleted the pool of questions, so to say. What do you think?
Yeah, we have a suggestion because I don't think it's a question as a whole. It's from okay, I won't be able to pronounce your name. Sorry, Forge Mama. About experimenting with unlocking with face.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that would be a good project. Another one that we will want to add to the bucket list, but it starts to get bigger and bigger.
Right.
That's interesting. If there is open source libraries that can handle it, like you just pass it buffers or pictures or whatever,
Mm.
and it works, then that might not be too hard to implement. I mean, of course, it's a lot of work, but
Sure. Yeah. I mean, those biometry things, they probably also need to be implemented in Biometry D.
yeah.
But
But
face unlock would be cool. I'm sure nobody has at the moment experimented with this, but it sounds doable. Also, another question that I would like to take real quick: will there ever be a camera shortcut in the lock screen? Well, considering that you can put the camera in the launcher, it's just one tap away and you unlock the phone with your fingerprint, for example. But I'm not really 100% sure that that it's a good idea to put the camera as a privileged application on top of everybody, because you could waste the storage of the phone pretty quickly and just take photos and camera shots with a locked phone. I don't think that's a very secure approach.
Yeah, but it comes from a con and a spy, so
yeah.
Nice handle name, by the way.
Exactly. This
also,
one is. Excuse me.
Yeah, you just take that one first.
Yeah. So also, isn't the fingerprint unlocker a photographic tool? Yeah, that's an implementation detail, but it's not really what we envision or see as a photographic tool from our perspective. Yes, it takes pictures of your fingerprint and compares it and validates that this is really the right fingerprint that it's been configured with, but it's not really a photographic tool in that sense. But as far as I'm aware, Android HALs also provide a way to integrate this in a common way. So if Biometry D wants to gain that functionality, it's probably not too much of an effort. It just needs a glue code between the HAL and Biometry D and call it a day. I mean, not to make it sound easy, but it's easier than rewriting everything from scratch.
Yeah.
All right, Marius, you had something you wanted to mention?
Yeah, some of you might have noticed that I've been gone for some weeks, and I just wanted to give a short update on that. And there's been a lot of things happening in my life personally, and at the same time, I also the last weeks I have been really sick. But I'm back now, and finally back. It's so good to be back.
Heck yeah.
It's great to have you.
Yeah. Just imagine my surprise when I came back from a cigarette break before the stream. I saw Marius in the stage, and I was like, "Hey, I know that guy."
I grown my beard since then. I feel like I program better when I have beard.
It's like the rings on a cut tree. How many
and,
rings?
And the hoodie. If you have the beard and the hoodie, then it's good.
But then you're a hacker.
Marius is becoming seasoned.
Yes. I see one question here that I can take real quick.
Yeah.
Sure.
Are there any updates on VLT issue? For the time being, there has been, like, since I've been gone, being sick and other stuff, there hasn't been much progress on my end. And also the fact that I'm not hired by the foundation anymore, which is also another can of worm. But so that one is probably going to be a little bit slower now. So yeah. And also I can give some context about that with the UBports Foundation. So the UBports Foundation is planning to not directly like hire developers. So, but I am hired otherwise. So I'm still working on a bunch of touch.
Perfect.
More specifically, desktop these days.
Oh, I see a question here, also from Cons by again. Do you have any way to tell how many people use UT? Well, not really. What we do have, though, is the statistics of the number of online devices within the last 5 minutes or so from the push server.
Yeah, and to get also a good metric, you can also check the uploads from the open store. But yeah, it has biased also.
And don't worry about us leaking any information. We don't collect any information about what you have been doing with your device. We just know a device with a specific code name has been up online against the push server over the last 5 minutes or something like that. So it's not a dangerous thing to share here.
Yeah. It's nothing like when you go to a website, you give that website even more information than the push server gets. The push server only gets the type of device, like if it's a 1+1, and what channel is it on. That's kind of the only information. But if you are a browser, you get screen size, you get fingerprinting. Well, the fingerprinting is when you collect all this together.
Yes.
And type of device and all that. We have some measures in Morph to avoid this, luckily. So, but yeah, but we have especially designed this to not collect information. So that's why we are very careful with collecting any information. We don't really want the information. To say that.
And also, there is something to be said about, hey, it's open source and free software. Just go read the code and check for yourself whether this is true what we just said. And I'm 100% sure that we just told the truth. So yeah, I'm very confident in that statement. So
yeah, and so yeah, it's not millions as you imagine, and I think it turns around a couple of hundred of thousands, something like that. But some people have several devices, so it's not people; it's more devices that we can
exactly. Yeah, we don't count users through their through an Ubuntu account or something. We don't count those number of people. We don't have a way to ensure that we know how many people have downloaded like an application how many times, or so that people with multiple devices are still counted as more people instead of just one person with multiple devices. So yeah, it's
also
yeah.
Also, the fact that not every device is actually registered on push server.
Also, yeah,
there's many factors in here, but looking at the download numbers of updates and also the push server, the number is between 2,000 and 20,000. So it's somewhere between there.
It's just a number.
Yeah, and just with the two of you, there are maybe 30 devices.
That is true. Yeah, that could be true indeed. I do have a JinkPad next to me, and also this one is probably registering with the push server right now. So it also looks like it. There are more people using it, but of course, then we would like to see, and I see this Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're not gonna share that information with anybody. So I'm not really sure if that, other than out of our own interests. So, but yeah, having the number grow, of course, would be great to see. But it's just hard to pinpoint how many people are using it overall. So, but that's just the nature of it.
But here's is a good one. Number of Ubuntu Touch users, about 3,600 downloads of the latest OpenStore. Keep in mind that the latest OpenStore is also shipped in OTA updates.
Mm.
So that would say that not everyone is actually downloading the update from OpenStore itself. It might also be downloaded as part of a release.
Yes.
I would say about 7,000 devices and 5,000 users. Yeah, around there. I think that's the correct answer. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good estimate. And with my download numbers, it makes sense. It's a number within 2,000 and 20,000. So.
I also see a very interesting question here that I really want to take real quick, and that is any new tablets in the porting pipeline. Not new tablets, but at least the PineTap 2 is getting very good. So PineTap 2 is close to getting really nice. And it also, due to it being Mesa-based, OpenGL hardware acceleration, those snapd changes that I've been talking about the last few months and even today or tonight, those changes don't matter to Honey Badger because Honey Badger don't care. It runs Mesa, so it really runs perfectly fine without having to change anything on the snapd side. It uses hardware accelerated OpenGL already, and I mean, this is something to keep in mind. It's not perfect at the moment, of course. It's a tough nut to crack, a few issues. But here's an interesting one. I highly recommend the Lenovo Tab TBX 306F. But yeah, look at that. There's a pretty great Lenovo tablet also. I think that's all supported by Ruben, if I'm not mistaken here. This one might be a harder question. Is there improvement on the battery life? I mean, I have to limit Wi-Fi and cellular data to keep a normal battery life more than 1 day on the Fairphone 4. I'm happy to say yes, there is something happening with RepowerD, and RepowerD is our power manager, which also gained is in the process of getting changes, or basically waiting for review. I have been waiting for reviews for some time now, to be honest. But RepowerD will be able to first and foremost ramp up the CPU usage while you are using it, but completely slow down as much as possible, and put the device to sleep, and maybe even add some power hell magic from the vendor blobs to the mix, where when you turn off the device or you put the phone into suspension mode, it actually can preserve battery life more efficiently and better, and maybe even some power saving modes while using it in the long run as well, or in the midterm. So, and also see Fusting saying that I have longer than 1 day battery life though on the Fairphone 4. So I mean, that is something to keep in mind. Maybe it's the way that you're using or have configured your device. Maybe some suspension prevention thing in the Ubuntu Touch tweak tool or something that might be related to this. But yeah, I mean, for example, I've also played with battery life on the Pixel 3a again, since I'm maintaining this thing and I want it to be still one of the best phones out there, if not the best. And I've also, with some community members, also started to tackle those battery life issues on this specific device. And I'm happy to report that today I have been able to figure out something with regards to power saving while having the phone suspended. And it works pretty decently. So maybe for the OTA 5, we are going to see some devices getting better battery life as well.
Yeah. So at first we thought that would be a very quick one because we only had 3 questions in the form, 2 even. But yeah, we're almost going to the hour.
Live chat saved us.
Yeah, thank you all. And we have also Christoph S. who's speaking about having created video on YouTube to have a playlist with a cool video with news things and maybe some feature, a cool feature we can put on display and for other people to show off. And I think that's a good idea. Maybe we can have a look at that. If someone has, I don't know who has access to the YouTube account exactly, but we can ask around and see what we can do.
Totally. There's some pretty cool videos indeed that I really like as well. So maybe that makes sense to showcase those on the UBports channel as well. Great idea. Hats off.
And I think I will also work on other kind of videos, maybe to help people, get to know the OS, see what it's worth, and what they can expect without. Because I think installation for some people is a barrier to entry. I would say. And so, yeah, they don't want to waste time and risk to bring their phone to just try it out. Some people, a lot of us, are fine with it and love it to tinker with their devices. But some other people are not so open to this. And maybe it could be great to showcase some features and mainly those that works pretty well and are reliable on all the devices or most of them. So yeah, that's an idea also.
Yeah, I see another interesting question that I think we should answer this one and then call it a night or day or whatever, time appropriately. It's this one. Can you elaborate more on those Jitsi dev meetings on Wednesdays? Yes, sure. So we do have ever since we've had the opportunity to meet in person in Brussels, we basically wanted to keep the spirit alive and have some regular meetings on Wednesdays where we can just join the channel on Jitsi and just talk about what we're having issues with, where we need some help with, or also just talk about random things that might be interesting to others, and getting the community more tightly together. So this is something that we're doing regularly now, and it's been quite an interesting and good positive experience actually in my mind. And I see from Apple's side that seems to be the case too.
Yeah, that's great to hang out with the others. Sometimes walking separate ways and sometimes sharing just news. But yeah, it keeps the community alive. It's not just handle names now. We've met in person, some of you, and I hope to get it even bigger, to get some more people on board. It would be great. Yeah. So what was the saying from the radio the last time? The more the merrier. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
In French, we have a saying that says more crazy people, less rice we have, but it rhymes in French.
Oh my goodness. That's a nice way to end this perfect stream here. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you everyone for watching and listening in. And if we can keep this up again, then we will see each other pretty soonish, maybe in 2 weeks already.
Yeah.
So take care everyone, and don't hurt yourselves. Don't trip over your feet, and make sure that you can join next time again.
Yeah. Thank you, Marius, for joining us. It's great to have you back. And
Exactly.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Awkward. Bye bye. This is our thing now.
So, and stream in 3, 2, 1.